week 16 of the fantasy baseball season. Here's a few prospects I will watch and possibly add this week. The first prospect, Elmer Rodriguez of the New York Yankees. We know Carlos Rondon, he went down with injury. The last outing for the Yankees, Brendan Beck got the start, where he's the number 21 prospect in the Yankee system, where Elmer Rodriguez is the number 3 prospect in the Yankee system. He's had some spot starts so far this season. Is Rodriguez with the Yankees on the year 0-2 record, 4 games started, 4.76 ERA, 17 innings, 10 Ks, a 1.76 whip. So the control's been an issue for Rodriguez when he was in the majors. But down in AAA, he's having a good season, 4-3 record in 12 games started, 2.93 ERA in 61 in a third, 61 strikeouts, a 1.29 whip. So like I said, with Carlos Rondon on the injury list, Max Fried still banged up, and Gerrit Cole still not 100%, I believe, to what he could do. Obviously, they're going to need someone to come back up. Is this New York Yankee team, and right now it looks like Rondon's going to be out at least till August to mid-August. So I think Rodriguez could be the next call. Like I said, Beck came up versus the Minnesota Twins over the weekend. He was batting practice in that ball game. And Rodriguez, he's pitching well in AAA. We've seen him in the majors, even though he's been a 4-inning pitcher in the games he started. But definitely someone to keep an eye on with this rotation now. They got to solidify it a little bit. And I would think Rodriguez would be the long-term plan. He's out there in 98% of fantasy leagues, number 76 prospect overall in Major League Baseball, and the number 3 prospect in the Yankee system. Next prospect, River Ryan of the Los Angeles Dodgers. See, he's been on this list a lot, is River Ryan, and we know they're running a 6-man rotation all season long as this Dodger team. We know Emmett Sheehan, he's been up and down this year, his numbers. Sasaki of late, he hasn't pitched well at all, even though I don't see them pulling him from the rotation. And he's just an injury away if they stick with this 6-man from coming up. Is River Ryan. So on the season, 8 games started, 3-1 record, 4.46 ERA in 36 and a third, 43 Ks, a 1.29 whip. So I know the ERA isn't good for River Ryan right now down there in AAA for this Dodger team, but the strikeout rate over a strikeout per inning, whip not horrible. He's only got 8 walks in 36 and a third on the season. And like I said, just the ERA isn't great, but he's not even giving up the long ball, just getting into some jams and not getting out of it. So like I said, this Dodger rotation, they're running the 6-man. We know Blake Snell, he's been out a while. Tyler Glasnow, he's still out. Those guys, I think Los Angeles, they're going to save for the playoffs anyway. And Eric Lauer, he's been pitching pretty decent where he's got a spot in this rotation. But right now, if another guy goes down, take it easy with a Yamamoto or Ohtani for a little bit towards August, September. Is this Dodger team. I think River Ryan will be the next call. So River Ryan, he's out there in 91% of fantasy leagues. I thought maybe a month or 2 ago he could have been up. He's Ryan. He's the number 6 prospect in this Los Angeles Dodger system and the number 70th prospect overall. And he did have a cup of coffee in the majors in 2024 where he started 4 games, 1-0 record with a 1.33 ERA, 18 strikeouts and a 1.18 whip. But then he had the Tommy John surgery and he's worked his way back, so definitely a prospect to keep an eye on. This week is River Ryan. Next prospect, Max Clark of the Detroit Tigers. So this Tiger team looks like they're going to be sellers, obviously, at the Major League trade deadline in the next 3-4 weeks. August 3rd is the deadline this season. And this Detroit Tiger team, it's been a tough year for them. And we know also as well, Tariq Skubal at least gets something for him than him walking in free agency where they're 9 games under 500. I know there's still only 5 games out of the wild card because the American League isn't great, but still, this Tiger team, they're going to sell off. And a guy like Max Clark, who's the number 13 prospect overall in Major League Baseball and the number 1 prospect in this Tiger system, I think he'll be up sooner than later for this Tiger team, especially the next month when they sell off some players on the year. 7 home runs, 33 RBIs, 19 stolen bases, 55 runs scored, a 265 average, a 351 on base, and a 752 OPS. So the OPS isn't great for Max Clark. But like I said, this Tiger team, they haven't had problems calling up guys. And Kevin McConaughey, he's been on the opening day roster. He got a contract extension pretty early for this Detroit Tiger team. And like I said, I thought Max Clark, he would have been up sooner than later. But they just want to see a little more production and him progress out there, even though, like I said, early in the season, Javier Baez, he was out for a while, and Clark never got the call for this Tiger team. But like I said, his power numbers aren't great in the minor leagues. He's a good base stealer, good defender out there in the outfield, and just he's got to work, Clark, on cutting down the swing a little bit. And I think he has only 51 strikeouts in 309 at bats. So this Tiger team, once they sell pieces at the deadline, I think within the next 3-4 weeks, we could see Max Clark in the major leagues. He's a top 15 prospect overall in Major League Baseball, and the time would be to call him up when this Tiger team's definitely out of the standings. Next prospect, Carson Milbrandt of the Miami Marlins. So this Marlins team, they've been on a nice run of late is Miami, where they were down, and now all of a sudden they're 8 games over 500. Is this Marlins team? They're the third wild card, 2 games up on the St. Louis Cardinals, and I think they can make a deal with the deadline if they really want to compete. Is this Marlins team, but also I think they could go to the minor leagues and call up one of their better pitching prospects, who's definitely moving up the system quickly, as Carson Milbrandt. Well, Milbrandt last season was in one of the A-ball levels for this Marlins team. This year started in Double-A, and he's already in Triple-A. And with injuries to Thomas White and obviously Robbie Snelling, who they called early in the season, where he got Tommy John surgery, as Robbie Snelling. Milbrandt, he's the next pitcher in line. So like I said, they got Phillips in the rotation. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep him in the rotation, where their contender right now is Miami. And Ryan Gusto is in that rotation a little bit as well. And Milbrandt, this season, since he went to AAA, 5 games started, 0-1 record, 4.15 ERA, 19 Ks, a 1.66 whip. So the walks have been a problem for Milbrandt. He's got 20 walks and 21 2/3. He's definitely got to work on his control in AAA. In AA this season, he only had 17 walks in 47 innings. So definitely he's a little bit ways away maybe, but like I said, the back end of this rotation needs to be solidified, I believe, for this Miami Marlins team. And Milbrandt, number 4 prospect overall in this system, number 75 prospect overall in Major League Baseball, and he's out there in 97% of fantasy leagues. So like I said, Milbrandt, if he could just work on the control and get the walks down, could be in the major leagues in the next couple weeks, especially if the Marlins don't go out there and acquire another starting pitcher, where this Miami Marlins minor league system isn't that great, where most of their guys are due up in 2028, 2030 range, where if they want to win now, I think Milbrandt might be the most ready starting pitcher in their farm system, especially with Thomas White with the shoulder injury and Robbie Snelling out with the Tommy John season, where he was going to be in this rotation. And the final prospect, Ralphie Velasquez of the Cleveland Guardians. Velasquez, he's having a good season in AAA. He's out there 99% of fantasy league. He's number 37 prospect overall in Major League Baseball is Velasquez, and the number 1 prospect in this Guardian system. So right now in AAA, playing pretty decent since he got called up there. 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 18 runs scored in 37 games, a 278 average, a 358 on base, and a 775 OPS. So Ralphie Velasquez could play first, could play some outfield, and he's having a pretty decent season in AAA, where he did start the year in AA, where he played 36 games. So 37 in AAA, 36 in AA. And AA, obviously, he was a little bit better, 7 home runs, 30 RBIs, a stolen base, a 317 average, 414 on base, and a 980 OPS. So he mastered AA with Ralphie Velasquez. They definitely want to see a little bit more out of him in AAA. But this Guardian team, another small market team, if they don't make a deal with the deadline, where right now they're half game up in the wild card and only 1 game out of the division in the AL Central, Velasquez, he could be like a trade deadline acquisition for them, a guy with some pop, good batting average guy. So far we've seen in his minor league careers, Velasquez, and he is their number 1 prospect. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if he's up here sooner than later. And like I said, this Guardian team, if they can't make a big deal with the deadline, he would be like their big deal, calling him up from the minor leagues, and he's out there 99% of fantasy leagues. That's a few prospects I would watch and possibly add for week 16 of the fantasy baseball season.